Hello again, Maya users, and welcome to another video talking about one of the scripts I've been working on for the UW animation capstone. So the one we're going to talk about today is this one up here. This is the weightless tool. Now, why would I make a skinning tool? Well, because skinning is probably one of the hardest parts of rigging. Now, there are a lot of people that find it, soothing, relaxing to do. I do too, to a certain extent, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I had is a way to save those skin weights, load them back in, and also have a couple of different functions that, I either had access to that I like from Maya, or ones that I've altered from Maya, or ones that I felt needed to really exist for a long time. So let's talk about all of these functions. So first and foremost, we have this little button here, which allows me to pick where my weights will go. So where will they be saved? So if I went here, you can see that this is changing at random. And the thing is, if I were to reopen that tool, it doesn't save. So how do you save it? Well, the way you save it is if I went to Nutmeg and I hit select folder and I hit save preferences, what that does is it puts a little XML document in your Maya documents folder, and it knows how to get that access at any given time. So anytime I reload this, it knows to access that particular file, look for this, and apply it. Now I don't want it to go there. I want it to go back to my original spot where this weights tool, and hit save preferences. Now, what you'll notice about the character in front of you, this is Nutmeg again, and right now it's not skinned at all. So I'm going to select the mesh and I'm going to hit load weights. Now while it's loading the skin weights, what you'll notice before is there were no skin weights added to this at all, as Maya slowly removes everything I select. But there were no skin weights added to this mesh whatsoever, as I just demonstrated. So it's going to take an XML document that was in that folder, look for one that matches the exact name of this mesh, bring it all in, go through every single vertex in this mesh and apply the correct influences, and then from there I can edit it however I please. Now, the other tools we have here, we have hammer skin weights and mirror skin weights. Mirror skin weights and hammer skin weights are identical to what we have in Maya already, because they are the Maya functions. Copy skin weights takes the copy skin weights function in Maya and adds one extra element to it, which I don't understand why Maya didn't add that already, but we'll talk about that once we get there. Edit influences gives you a list of all the bones in the scene and all the bones that are attached to his skin, if there are any, and allows you to add or remove them at will. Edit vertex skin weights, or edit average vertex skin weights, gives you sliders which show you in real time the movement of those skin weights, and soft select to skin weights is self-explanatory there. So first and foremost, let's take a look at our skin weights, and it looks like we got some. Hooray! Let's take a look at our arm here, and let's have Nutmeg say hello. Hello. Cool. So I'll do that again for the wings here. And let's talk about the edit influences section. So first and foremost, there's no skin weights attached to this, and apparently there's no freeze transform either. It's embarrassing. So let me get rid of that really quick. Okay, now we're all good. So we have this list of all the non-influences for this, because there are no skin weights attached to this mesh at all, or the other side. So if I look for eye, there's our right eye, because I have the right one selected, and if I click this button, it adds that. Now there's the skin weight attached to it, and you can see that it has a skin weight. Now if I remove that, skin weight goes away, and it's no longer influenced by it. Okay, so let's do that to the other eye as well. Okay, left eye, boom. All right. Now, copy skin weights. Let's talk about that super quick. Right now, I have no skin weights on this, but the thing that bugs me about copy skin weights in Maya is you have to have the influences already added to a skin weight on that mesh. That bugs me. Why? Because if I wanted to say copy skin weights over to a new mesh of this character, what if I miss one? Well, that's a problem. And that has happened before. There has been times where I've missed like a finger joint and things don't mirror over and all of a sudden you have a small little disaster where you're wasting time. So I wanted a button that automatically analyzes all the bones from the first mesh and then applies it to the target mesh. So if I do copy skin weights, you should now see that if I moved this bone right here, it is already applied. But the problem is now I have every bone that's attached to this character. Not good. But combined with the Edit Influences button, I can then go through and remove anything that I see fit that doesn't necessarily work for this particular setup. How cool is that? Now, I already have skin weights for this because I have hair joints which aren't applied to the body, so I'm going to just add that back and done. Cool. Now, let's take a look at our setup for the arms here. Now, if you're wondering what this extra bone is, it's for a piece of armor that I have hidden for now, so don't worry about it. In fact, let me just hide that. Gone. All right. Now, what I'm going to show you next is one of the functions that I saw in another video. So edit average skin weights and edit vertex skin weights. So if I edit vertex skin weights, it gives me a list of sliders for every vertex that I currently have selected. And that applies to any form that I select these vertices in, which is pretty cool. But if I want to edit them all at once, I could do edit averaged vertex skin weights. Now, why is this important? Well, because essentially what I'm going to do here is I am going to kind of even this out. Now, the thing with skin weights is anytime you edit one of them, it automatically averages out the other 2 or 3 or 4, however many other bones you have for those vertices. But if I lock this, then I can even these out perfectly. How cool is that? And the fun part is because I have this slider function, you can see this in real time, how quickly this gets changed, how quickly this gets, edited, and we can have the exact functionality that we want in seconds. Very nice. Now, that's not what I want it to look like, so I'm just going to move it back to the way it was. And then I'll just hit mirror skin weights so it was back to the way it was before. Okay, and there we are. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, for the next one I'm going to show off, and the last one, I'm just going to go to select vertices, and I'm going to mask out this whole section here. Oh, and before I do that, I should probably turn off bone selection really quick. Just really quick. We'll turn it back on in a moment, but I'm just going to make this whole head, or as much of it as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to make that whole selection 100% to the head. Boom. Okay. There we go. Now, why did I do that? Well, because I want to show you how quickly you can skin facial bones with the next part of this tool. So, we're going to talk about soft select to skin weights. Now, soft selection, for those of you who don't know, because there might be some of you who don't, is this lovely process of selecting a vertice, pressing B, or if you go into your settings here, not symmetry, soft selection, turn that on. And what it allows you to do is if you hold B and drag up, you can move this around and basically move a whole chunk based on your settings of geometry. And I'm going to set this to an area where I would love for this cheek 2 bone to basically have that same amount of skin influence. Now, it would be crazy to have soft selection transfer to skin weights, right? I mean, how do you do that? Well, if I click on this, you'll see that I can either adapt my fall off radius here, or I could just use this little slider and choose where I want this to go. I can select exactly the bone that I want. So cheek, I'm going to say left, and I want this one. Okay. Now, the highest weight, I don't want this to automatically be set to 100%, because if I select to 100% or 1 in this case, it's going to mess with the weights around it. So if I want this to start at a lower skin weight, I'm going to just set this to 0.85. And then what will happen is, and just so you know, I'm going to make sure you guys see beforehand that there are no skin weights added to this. Well, there's this little piece here that I didn't get, but you get the idea. So if I select that, I'll hit B again, so it turns on that soft selection, and I'll hit convert by clicking on cheek 2, convert soft select to skin weights, and if I go back to my paint weights, boom, if I go to cheek, there it is. And now, if I select that bone, particular, it will have the exact same movement properties as that soft selection that I had before. How cool is that? So that's about it for this tool. As always, if you have any questions or want to talk to me about this tool in particular, just leave a comment in the section below. And as always, I'm Cody Wilcoxon signing off. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.